Hi there. Hope everybody's doing great. It's my pleasure to join everybody, all our global audience from the UK, Nigeria, and all around Europe. Right now, I'm really excited to share with you some of the things that we ought to be taking a look at right now and considering doing from a perspective of multiple streams of income. So I'm really, glad that we have the opportunity to social distance, but at the same time, stay connected, via digital means across the globe right now. So, thoughts and prayers with those that have lost loved ones, so negatively impacted by the pandemic that we've all had to deal with here over the last 8 to 9 weeks. Next, we're going to be spending some time going through what I call the multiple streams of income. We'll try to cover some grounds on that today. And then next week, the same time, 6 p.m., next Wednesday, May 27th, we'll take some additional time and come back and look at some things that we ought to be taking a look at and exploring in order to navigate this recovery and then get to revival and then, launch, comfortably into what I call the ongoing reality. Now, I've got to tell you all, 2020 is still the year of grace to grace. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. I know some folks are concerned that the year started out on a really rough note since March. But let me tell you something. The word quarantine, all right? So everybody have been on quarantine and extended stay-at-home order across different nations of the world. But let me tell you something right now. The word quarantine has its root from Latin, and when you talk about quarantine, that means 40. And when you add 20 and 20, that gives you 40. And if you think about all the major shifts and the different things that has happened, from the Word of God, that every 40 days and 49, every 40 days of fasting, there is a major shifting in the spirit that happens, right? So think about the fact that quarantine has its root word in 40. So in Latin, in Spanish, or in Italy, 47, is 40, right? So quarantine is 40. So 2020 is not a year that you should write off that it's not going to turn out pretty good. As a matter of fact, I think 2020 could be the best year that we've had, period, for a lot of us. So, and the Bible also talks about the transfer of wealth, and we are going to experience the transfer of wealth that we have never seen in any other generation in 2020 and in the years, beyond 2020. So stay tuned, watch out, and then we're going to be taking questions as we get through this. So please feel free to let us have your questions in the chat box. I'm going to go through through my presentation right now, which is essentially around multiple streams of income. And then what is going to happen is we'll come back on the back end of that, and we'll talk about, we'll take your questions and provide some perspective as well. All right. So we're getting into the presentation. So once again, welcome to all of our viewers from around the world. We are really excited to have you join us today. And we're grateful that you've taken the time out of your busy day, busy week, to tune in to Grace International Center. All right, so let's talk about multiple income streams. Now more than ever, it is critical that we look at all the avenues that are available to us. And some of you may be saying, hey, so where does this where is the biblical application when it comes to multiple streams of income? So really quickly, Genesis 2:10, we can see that there was a river that flowed from the land of Eden, and the river kind of split up into 4 different branches. So now God could have taken care of the Garden of Eden without creating all these 4 branches of river to water and make sure that there is enrichment in the garden. But he decided to allow that one main stream, which is you as a person gifted with different, talents and gifts, multiple, ways that you can do different things, and it will still, accomplish the purpose that is set out to accomplish. So, we see in Genesis 2:11 that, Peon is one of them, of the branches. And then in Genesis 13, the second one is, Gihon. And then in the 14, we have, the river Tigris. And then in the fourth, branch, we have the Euphrates. So that basically tells us that it is okay to have multiple streams of income. And if we have any of our listeners or viewers right now that are not interested in multiple streams of income, that is fine. You should still go ahead and practice some of the things that we're going to talk about here shortly. And when that money comes in, just go ahead and sow it back into the kingdom of God so that the kingdom of God can be extended on this planet. All right. So what I would say is that we have two options, and I will discuss those two options here in a little bit. But you ought to be you have to carefully consider, the option of starting your own business. If that is something that you are considering right now, pray about it and just make sure that you have a confirmation in your spirit, because, business ownership is not meant for everybody. Once you have that confirmation and you know that this is something for you and you want to go that route, think about the timing. For some folks, you have already started, and that is great. For some folks, you are in the very early stages of starting, and that is fine. But the timing is absolutely critical. So make sure that you have confirmation in your spirit relative to the time that you ought to start. If you truly believe that there is an entrepreneurial strain in your in your DNA, and you want to explore that. Also, it's important to keep your network in the loop and keep everybody posted on this. And think about the reputation that you have created and how you may be able to leverage that reputation as well. And then, finally, the streams of income that we're going to talk about. Some of the streams, you need some amount of money. In some cases, you just need your gift and talent. In some cases, you just need help from the folks that in your network to help you get started. But whichever way you think about it, to own a small business is all encompassing and can be fairly all consuming. So, different skills and you are going to be required, and you have to be truly dynamic. So it's not for everybody, but it surely, I will tell you, it's not for most people. But for those who are called and have the confirmation to do this, you would know in your spirit right now that this is for you, and there is a level of excitement that is already rising up in you. So make sure this is for you. And if one of the options that we're discussing tonight is not for you, you may have other options within the streams that we're going to talk about that is for you. So, get ready to take note. All right. Before we get into that, if you currently have a job, we are not suggesting that you quit your job. Please, please, please hold on to your job, and you can do something on the side. So that is where we're going to focus a lot of time today, keeping your job and doing something on the side. And let me quickly say this as well. The best time to upgrade your job or to find another job is when you currently have a job, because it's a lot easier to show your accomplishments and the ways that you've added value in your current position. And then folks are really interested to know that you currently have a job, but you are aspiring to do better. And that's why you're looking for other opportunities. So the best time to look for a job or upgrade your position is when you currently have a job. So the other option is to be your own boss. You quickly or completely want to move away from working for somebody and you want to work for yourself. Typically, the capital requirement or the money that you need in that situation is typically a lot more. And given all the different stimulus package that we have in the UK right now, once you've read about it, this may be the time for you to say you're going to launch out in faith. And you're going to start something that you've been thinking about. You have a business plan, and you have the capital required in order to go in that direction. And even when you have the financial wherewithal to do this, our recommendation is, still keep your job and start the new business that you want to embark on, in a very small way and launch out like that. Okay, so let's start getting into the nitty gritty here a little bit. Investing in your gift and your talent to create wealth. So, what could you do what could you create using your unique talents? So, one of the things you have to think about is you don't have to start in a big way. It's okay to start small. starting in your house. Maybe you have a spare room, maybe it's your lounge. Go ahead and get started. Using the skill sets that people have confirmed to you. People come to you and ask about certain things, and you're able to solve certain problems. It's okay to start using that skill and talent right now. And you don't have to start big. You can start small, because Rome was not built in a day, and the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So the other thing that you want to think about is partnership. It's okay to own, to own, a part of something very big versus owning, 100% of something very small. So that is where partnership comes in. But if you're going into a partnership situation, guidance to you is make sure that you are not unequally yoked with folks that don't have the same core value or core belief system. So be careful going into that. And then the third dimension that we want to look at is think of products or services that will provide continuous cash flow. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And if you're really, really push for ideas and you don't know which way to go, it may be worthwhile to close your eyes and think outside the box a little bit. And you may start to envision, what that product or what that idea may look like. All right. Moving on to the next slide real quick. What opportunities exist in today's marketplace for your area of brilliance? That's a question that is worth asking yourself now more than ever. Talk about, what do people want that you can provide at a great price? There are a lot of things that you do very well and people compliment you for it. Now is the time to take advantage of that. What causes you a lot of frustration and you want to fix it yourself or help others to fix it? That is basically speaking to your gift and talent and something that, you can do in your sleep. So consider that right now before we go into these 5 streams. And also think about what products and services already exist that you can make better. We're going to have some ideas and thoughts on what that looks like. Some folks are out there right now putting on face masks and designing it and making it and selling it. Well, what if you can put a logo on it, which is, it's a common product, it's a commodity. But what if you can put a logo on it and make it in such a special way that it would send a strong signal or send a different message than, just having a blank face mask. And then there are different, based on the country you are located, there are different idea generation programs on TVs and trade shows that you may want to take some time while you are at home watching a lot of TVs right now. Spend your time watching, programs that would really enhance you and benefit you and, create, help you create that extra stream of income. So now let's get into it a little bit. So to the first one that we're going to get into here, we're going to talk about 5, but the very first one I want to talk about is earn some cash in your spare time, taking surveys, watching TVs, and playing games. I'm going to focus a lot more on the taking surveys. In the UK, there are 10 different organizations that you can reach out to, and I've taken the time to do some research, and they are all listed on the screen right now. So if you have a cell phone, take a picture of this screen by all means. Reach out to these folks, and after this call, sign up to maybe 1 or 2, and rather than just sitting at home and not doing something constructive, get some surveys completed and get paid for it. A little extra cash will certainly go a long way. I'm pretty confident on that, and you can get paid every week. You can get paid every month, and this is one where if you love to write and you like to share your opinions on things and the products that you've worked on, here is one where I would strongly recommend that you Google some of these companies, Survey Junkie, Pinecone Research, Swagbox, Survey Club, LifePoint, Opinion Outpost, Vindale Research. Go ahead and sign up depending on the type of product or services that you love to use. Share your opinion, share your thought process, and get paid for it. Don't forget, we're going to take some questions. So feel free to please give us some questions in the chat box. We'll come back and we'll review those. Let's go to the next one. The next one is about, getting paid to make deliveries on your schedule. Wow, how cool is that? So here is one where you already have a car, and that car is just sitting in the driveway. You have a lot of spare time, depending on your age and your social status, and you think, you know what, this is something that I could do, and how there's a lot of older people at home right now that are not able to drive to go pick up some shopping or pick up some food. You can help out by simply signing up with Chop Chop, Just Eat, or Deliveroo, or Uber Eats. And the only caution that we will send out here is beware and be careful of some neighborhoods that are undesirable. Some neighborhoods are pretty bad to drive into at night. So if you want to do this, depending on your age and your social status, do this during the day and limit your scope in your geography to 9 to 10 minute radius of where you are resident, so you are not putting a lot of wear and tear on your car. But the way this simply works is that you can do this 4 or 5 hours a day, and you can get paid at the end of every week. The app that consumers use then pushes the orders to a nearby driver who are logged in. All you do is pick up the food, drop it off, and you get paid. And you get to keep 100% of the delivery fee plus any tips. So you can do this for 2 hours. You can do this for 4 hours. You can do this for 8 hours. And if you don't want to do this in your neighborhood where you're resident, you can travel out of your area, and you can still get this done. So hope this helps somebody. Now let's move into another one. So the next one is start a YouTube channel or build an e-commerce site. So there is a lot of you out there right now that you have a lot of content, or even if you don't have content, people come to you for advice, and there are certain things that you're extremely good at, and there is no platform out there for you to express, that gift and share some of the talent that you have. Creating a YouTube channel, branding yourself on your YouTube channel, and then start creating some content that you can put on your YouTube channel. And what I would also recommend is for everybody that is on the call and you belong to this body, let's support each other by going on YouTube and liking the YouTube channel and subscribing to it. And the more people that subscribe to this channel and the more content that you have, you can start generating some income from that. And YouTube channel and other advertisers may even advertise on your YouTube channel. So, it's very, very important that we support each other. And somebody says, hey, I've just, started a YouTube channel. Let's band together and let's support that by going on that channel and subscribing to it. And even just watching 1 or 2 videos for 2 or 3 minutes a day. And if we all do that, the rating on that channel will go up pretty fast, and it will start to attract some advertisers. And once you've done it for somebody, put your name out there and ask other people to do it for you as well. That's one of the ways that you can express yourself. Some folks know how to create things, so write a storybook or fix things, or build a computer. Regardless of what it is, I'm gonna tell you right now, people want to know and want to learn. So by starting that YouTube channel, you will certainly be helping the world. The other thing that you could do from a digital standpoint is to build an e-commerce site. This is basically a shop window, where you have some products that you want to sell, and you can build an e-commerce platform through Shopify. These are standard platforms that you can start, and you can populate it, and you can put some of your product on this site, and then you can advertise your product through Facebook or other digital social media channels, and people would then buy it from you, and you don't even have to leave your home to do this. So it may take 1 or 2 weeks to establish your e-commerce site, but once it's built out and you have all the content in there, you can start to make it even better and better and better all the time. So starting a YouTube channel or building an e-commerce site may be something for some folks to think about right now, as we're going through this economic downturn and this pandemic that we all have to deal with, globally, right now. So hope that helps somebody. The next one is, and this is for the folks in the UK specifically. If you are not in the UK and you're watching this program, perhaps you are in Europe or, in other parts of the world, find the companies or the places that can do this as well. And if some of these ideas are not already in existence where you are located, go ahead and start it as well. It takes somebody to get it started, and other people will subscribe to it. So, number 4, advertise with car quits. Car quits, matches drivers with advertisers, helping brands connect with millions of people every day. Drivers get paid each month, earning money as they drive. And for advertisers, it's a unique form of advertising that creates buzz and sparks conversations in towns and cities up and down the UK. So all you do is go on carquits.com, sign up, and if you are in a position to use your car for something like this, you get paid every month. And think about this opportunity, because using your car to advertise a product, and then using that same car to deliver food, then you are using your car to generate 2 streams of income at the same time. Now, schools are off, and most schools are not going to come back here till later in the year because of social distancing. And you have a little bit of credit card you want to pay off, or your car note, you're trying to still pay that off. Well, let that car earn the money to pay it off, and this is one of the ways that you can do that. All right. So, moving into the last one that we're going to take a look at today is to write an ebook. If you like the idea of writing, but you don't want to deal with the technical headache that come with blogging, and you should consider self-publishing your own ebook. Ebooks, by their very nature, doesn't have to be 50 pages or 20 pages. It can be maybe pick a topic that you want to write about. Write 10 or 15 pages of the ebook, publish it on Amazon, and go ahead and sell it. $2, $3, $1.50, and then again, you can advertise your ebook through all the different social media channels as well. And you will be amazed that there are folks out there that want to know about how to do things. So think about how to, the how to guides and other explanatory pieces on certain topics like fitness or, graphic design and some other things that you really know about a lot about, and other folks want to learn about it. And one of the ways that you can grab that knowledge and you can monetize it is to write an ebook content about the skill set that we're talking about, i.e., fitness or graphic design or web design and some other things like that. And once you've written that, the Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing is probably the easiest platform to get started on. Publishing takes just a few minutes, and most books appear on Kindle stores worldwide within 1 to 2 days. With Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, you can earn up to 70% royalties on each sale to customers in most countries. And once you've published your ebook, that is just some residual income that is going to keep coming in, and you don't have to do anything else to earn that income. And then you can write 4, 5, 6, 10 of this and publish it, and just watch money going into your bank account because people are downloading your ebook all around the world. So I understand that may be a little bit quick. I wanted to open up a lot of time on the back end so that we can take questions. So we're going to go to questions right now, and make sure that we respond to every item that we've talked about. Hope everybody has found that very very benefiting. And we're going to take the time now to go ahead and take some of your questions. So I'm looking at, some of these are in French, so I'm so sorry I don't speak French. I can understand a little bit of, Zulu and Setswana and Yoruba and a little bit of Spanish and Italian. So for those who have, reached out and asked a question in French, feel free to translate it and repost those questions, and we'll try and do our best to get to those questions as quickly as possible. All right. I'm looking at a lot of questions here. Um, yeah, there is a question that says, please share this video. Absolutely, we're going to do everything we can, to share this video with everybody here as soon as this webcast is over. So, watch out for that. More coming down here very, very, very soon as soon as we conclude this session. All right. I'm looking at that there is another. We have quite a few questions from Carol. Carol, we want to take your questions, so feel free to, like I said, uh, go ahead and translate it. I think you are in the process of translating it right now, so that is great. All right, now question from uh, Ms. Remy Badozi. Hey, it's good to see you. Good to see your question. Is there anywhere else to sell ebooks apart from Amazon? Amazon is one of the biggest platforms out there right now. And I know that sometimes 70% commission on your ebooks, you may want a little bit more than that. But I will certainly ask you to do some research online because you may find maybe one or two other platforms where you can definitely sell your ebooks apart from Amazon. So I'm sorry, I don't have any other know of any other platforms, right now. But depending on the country, I'm pretty confident that you will find other platforms. I know Alibaba back in China, it's a global platform, and they are in the process of doing something very similar to Amazon. So try that for sure, and they may be able to provide you the incentive to go ahead and publish your ebook with them. So hope that helps. Um, okay, we're gonna wait here for additional questions. So feel free to send those questions. So just to recap to everybody that is on the call, we've talked about um, taking surveys, and there are 10 organizations in the UK that you can enroll with, and you can join, and they will take your survey. You can take surveys, and you can enroll with two or three of those, survey organizations, and so that you constantly have work to do as far as completing those surveys. So hope that blesses somebody. We also talked about um, car quit. So you have a car, you don't mind using it to advertise. Feel free to, call, email, or Google carquits.com and get more details on that. We talked about, food delivery. This thing is exploding across the UK, right now when it comes to delivering food. So I would certainly, encourage some of you to take a look at it. And I know some of us may be saying, hey, I don't want to do that in my neighborhood. And yeah, drive out of your neighborhood, 5, 6, 7, 8 miles, log on online and let them know you're available. And they will definitely be sending you customers, and you can pick those up, deliver them, and get some cash, real quick. Um, there is an app called Wattpad. Okay, so sister Remy, there is somebody has just responded to your question called there is a platform where you can also publish your ebook, and it's called Wattpad. That is WATTPAD. So hope that helps for those who want to take on the opportunity to do some ebooks. Now, I have another question. What is the steps in taking to set up a YouTube platform? Great question. So the steps that you take in setting up a YouTube platform, a YouTube channel, is you basically have to register with YouTube first of all. Once you register with YouTube, there is a registration that you have to complete. I would recommend and suggest that you complete that registration. And typically these days, they want to do a little bit of background check and make sure that whoever is setting up that channel is legit. So Um, Once you get that completed, it takes about 2 or 3 days. They'll come back to you and ask you for some additional, things that they may require, and then you could be live in 2 or 3 days. Setting up a YouTube channel. So that's all you need there. And then to create content, find a really nice setup or backdrop in your home where you can create content, and then you can go ahead and you can post some of those contents online. Some folks are saying, hey, I don't have big camera or ways to set this up. You can simply start with using your cell phone camera. There's nothing wrong with that. Start small. We talked about that in part of my presentation. And then as you get additional funds, and this is something you want to do long term, you can also upgrade, the quality of your content on a go forward basis. So hope that helps. Um, there is a question here that talks about what is the legality of the ebook not being copied? Is Amazon going to patent your ebook to reduce piracy? Okay, so in terms of the ebook content, it just depends on the content of it. So if you're writing about how to, design a website, that is, it's a common knowledge that most people have, and so the only piracy or issue or patent that you may run into there may be if somebody uses your logo directly, then there could be some legal situation there, and you can go after them for that. But the good thing about the ebook and the channel that I was talking about, YouTube channel and ebook platforms, is that um, it gives you global exposure, and it takes you to places that you probably would not have been able to reach, from a global standpoint, without using those channels. So the legality of the ebook is such that, look, unless there is technical information in your ebook that is unique to you, I would recommend that you get your technical details um, patented, and make sure that you have the copyrights to anything that you put on ebook, and also make sure that you put a notice there saying that the content that is in the ebook is patented, and you have the copyrights to it. And if anybody needs it, let them know where to reach out to you. Um, and if anybody copies your original work and you're able to track them down, then there's definitely a case for you to go after them there. So I hope that helps with that question. So we're going to keep recapping. So we talked about wrapping your car and doing some other things. Certainly, depending on your status and where you are, definitely something to take a look at. And we also talked about this whole concept of making sure that whatever you choose to do, it's pretty much in alignment with where you are, your status, your neighborhood, and some other things. The critical point here, however, is that this pandemic, as the numbers are flattening out and people are venturing out, a lot of people are very negative about it. I don't want us to be negative about it. I want us to understand that there is a great opportunity now, to launch out and to release the gift and the talent that God has given us. And by so doing, we can solve a lot of global problems, we can solve a lot of community issues, and we can participate in the recovery and in the revival of the different economies of the communities where we are situated. So hopefully, that helps. I'm still seeing a few questions coming from Carol. It's very difficult uh, to interpret those questions. So I would recommend that please feel free to interpret those questions, and we'll do our very best here to get those questions answered as soon as possible. All right. We'll wait online here a couple more minutes to get additional questions, and then we'll go from there. Oh, okay, got it. Absolutely. So Carol is a French interpreter for the church. I got it. All right, I understand. So we are basically answering those questions as we're going along. So that's good. That's very good. All right. So one of the questions that has just come in is, what are your thoughts on trading and investing? Can this be done? Can this be another stream of income? Forex trading, to be specific. Absolutely. So, Michelle, thank you for that question. That is a very, very good question. So the essence of today is to focus on, some basic fundamental ways to create multiple streams of income for those who may not have the technical ability to get into stock trading and forex and all of that kind of stuff. But absolutely. So there are different platforms that are global and around the world that you can use right now. Robinhood is a great platform to use for beginners, and we have other, trading platforms that you can use as well. Yes, this is definitely another stream of income. I would ask that you get some knowledge. The Bible says, in all you get some understanding and get wisdom, right? So make sure you learn about how to trade, and then perhaps start with some penny stocks. All right, so that way you get your feet wet. You can buy some stocks that you like, and you can start trading. So that is definitely an opportunity. And right now we have seen that the global markets have kind of lost a lot of value. A lot of those products and services will still bounce back. And so if you're already vested in the stock exchange, maybe you have your 401k on the store exchange, or your pension, don't get out of the market right now. Stay in there, hang in there, but find ways to maybe change your positions and find other stocks or products that can give you the kind of return that you're looking for. So retail will continue to do well as it has done well. Some of these food companies that were decimated will come back. I will stay away from airlines right now because it's going to take a minute before they bounce back. The tourism industry will come back, but we may be looking 6 to 12 months down the line. But do your homework before you start trading. But absolutely, forex trading is another one. There is a lot of forex volatility right now. So if you want to get into forex, that's fine. I would say start small, hone your trade. Do 50, 100, 200 pounds worth of trades a week just to hone your trade and get in a good position. And then after that, you may want to keep growing. But some of the global currencies will continue to stay very strong through this pandemic. Some have lost a lot of value, but again, those will come back. My guidance to you on this is learn enough about it, learn a lot about it, as a matter of fact, before you jump in and start trading, forex, because that has a lot more risk than when you're trading, mutual funds, or you're trading, regular stock as well. But learn those two. There is no downside in learning, and then launch out on that. Okay, hope that helps somebody. Now, the next question is: are there any other selling platform like Shopify? Yes. Shopify is good. That's one of the platforms that you will find. Amazon is the biggest, as we know, at least on the Western Hemisphere. And then if you want to get into Asia, Alibaba is another platform that I will ask you to take a look at. Hope that helps. All right, next question. Can you please lay some emphasis on the Survey Junkie? Are there any data protection policy guiding those who join? Is there any fee to pay, you decide to opt out? No. So we talked about the 10 different survey companies that we shared on the call tonight are specific to the UK. So that's good to know. All right. There is no, in terms of data protection, once you register with them, your personal information cannot be shared with anybody if you opt out of that. So you have to opt out and let them know that you don't want them sharing your information, and they have to hold that true and not share your information. And when it's time for you to opt out, you should not have to pay any fee when you decide to opt out any of those survey companies. So read all the fine prints, do your homework, half hour to 1 hour. Kind of reading through the small prints will kind of put you in a good space so that when you are ready to opt out, you can opt out without any strings attached. All right. So the next question is, what is your opinion about believers doing life insurance for critical illness? Okay, so in terms of doing life insurance, so life insurance is if you are the main provider for your family, okay, and you happen to be, and you want to protect yourself and protect your family more importantly. There is nothing, in my opinion, personally, this is one man's opinion, that is wrong with life insurance. Now, once you have your life insurance, make sure that you keep all the information relative to your life insurance in a safe and easily accessible place, so folks can get hold of it, and be very be very cautious once you have life insurance about who you share that with. I don't think that is information you should be sharing with everybody that you have life insurance. I would say that take the time to find out who are some of those trusted advisors and folks in your community that you can share that information with. And for somebody that have critical illness, I pray that the hand of God touches that situation and it doesn't result in death. But there is nothing, in my opinion, that is wrong with having life insurance. To protect your family in the event of the unknown. So and do your homework again. There are several types of life insurance out there right now, and it's a lot of health insurance too that you can enroll with that would pay out your medical bill and give you the best medical health that you can get, so it doesn't have to result in death. But if the worst happens, absent in the body is present with Christ. I believe that. But then leaving a legacy and making sure your family are left in a better financial position is also a good thing. All right, I think that's the last question that we have on the in the chat box. We wait for a couple more seconds, and then we'll go from there. All right, if we have any more, let us know. Yeah, Mr. Ben, no problem. You said thank you on the chat box. You are very much welcome. That's a great question to have, and I really appreciate you participating in the event tonight. That's great news. Next week on the 27th, same time, we're going to take some time and talk about what should be some of our financial priorities right now, given the current situation that we're having to deal with. Thank God for countries like the United States and United Kingdom that have a very strong stimulus package in place. How do you start to take advantage of some of the stimulus money that has been, made available? And, what are some of the priorities now more than ever to put us in a very strong financial position? So we're gonna talk about that, for sure. And look for ways that we can provide some guidance and some perspective, to make sure that you're grounded. Right now, short-term liquidity is something that is very critical to small businesses and to households, period. We are seeing unprecedented amount of unemployment, double digits in the U.S. and potentially in the U.K. And I'm sorry that this, pandemic has really hit hard in the United Kingdom, but it's always a way out. And there are certain strategies that we should be thinking about now, and making sure that in the next 6 to 18 months, we continue to be in a very strong financial position, personally, in our business setup, and individually for our families as well. So we're gonna, peel that back some. Next week Wednesday at 6 p.m. Same time, same place. I look forward to catching up with each and everybody there. If we don't have any additional questions, we're going to start to kind of round this thing up. I want to take this opportunity to say thanks to everybody that is watching us tonight, whether you are watching on Facebook Live or YouTube or Instagram. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face towards you and give you great peace, to the glory of God, in the name of Jesus. Just before we leave, there is another question that just popped into the chat box. So let me take a quick second to take that before we sign off. And the question is, what's the best franchise one can join? What's the best franchise one can join at this time? So we've got to think about the businesses that were essential, and the different governments ask them to stay open because they are essential businesses. We got to think of those. So but I would recommend that this depends on your skill set and what you really enjoy and what you love to do. It's one thing to get a franchise for the money, which I appreciate and I strongly recommend it. At the end of the day, we got to make money, but you got to make sure it's something that you enjoy. So folks, right now we have to eat. So, take a look at, franchise.com and look at some of the businesses that are there, and have a pretty low threshold in terms of cost of entry, and consider those right now. Some of these franchisees may even be offering the financial incentive for some folks to join. So again, take a look at some of those, find out the requirement. There is no downside in going in for an open day with some of this. Pick 2 or 3. Pick one in the technology sector, maybe pick one in the food sector, take one in the health sector, and grooming, salons and haircuts and all of that sort of good stuff. And then go in, have questions, go and take a look at some of the incentives that they may be offering. And then based on that, pray about it, make a decision, and go ahead and get started. And they may be in a position to provide some incentives as well. Like I said, I will certainly explore that. So hopefully, that we're getting a lot of positive comments online. Thank you for all of those that are sending those comments in. I appreciate each and every one of you. And the Lord bless you and keep you, as I indicated earlier. Same time, same place. Next week, Wednesday, 6 p.m. London time. Make sure you keep that appointment, and I look forward to seeing you all then. Take care and God bless.